Stilo 404 here. Hey, I just wanted to make a quick one and talk about Luis Ortiz. I've been, looking around on YouTube and seen many videos on the fight last night. I know it was brief, but I just want to touch on it just a little bit. Ortiz been avoided. That's been widely verified, acclaimed, widely documented. It's just a shame the man can't get the fights that they wants to get at the heavyweight division. Wilder stepped up, fought him, offered him a fight, had a chance to get out of that fight when Ortiz failed the drug test, moved on, fought Stavern, went right back to Ortiz, gave him another shot because Ortiz was, of course, saying that, Wilder didn't want to fight him to start with, et cetera, et cetera. Gave him the fight. Hell of a fight. We all know how it ended with Ortiz on his knees. Fight being waved off. Okay, that said, you got AJ ducked the man when he was in position to be the WBA mandatory. Aside from that, when you come back to the fight with the guys that AJ has actually fought, to me, none of them, including Klitschko at age 42 or whatever age he was, coming off of that terrible loss to Tyson Fury, where he just looked like a shell of his former self. Also, the fact that he was coming off of that long layoff to boot. None of those guys have looked in the ring or on paper as viable a threat as Ortiz. So, there's good reason for why AJ didn't fight Ortiz. There's good reason why a lot of heavyweights don't want to fight Ortiz, and they can talk all they want to talk about value and he doesn't bring the money, this, that, and the other. But the fact is, you guys all are campaigning at the same division, and you're okay with this guy being known as the boogeyman of the division and this aura of mystique surrounding him that all of y'all are scared of him. All of y'all are ducking him. I mean, where is the heart and the courage for these guys to step up and say, hey, I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll fight him. Dillian White, I watched the interview with Eddie Hearn where he talked about Dillian White fights everybody. He don't duck nobody and this, that, and the third. Well, Dillian White was begging to fight Wilder, and Wilder said, if you beat Ortiz, I'll fight you. Dillian White wanted no part of it. The WBC made the WBC told him that he could make that if he beat Ortiz, he would be made mandatory challenger for Wilder's title. The title he seems to be want to get so bad, or the fight he wants so bad. When they ordered that, said, okay, beat Ortiz and you got your shot, he once again wanted no part of Ortiz. So, that said, I think it's been proven that these guys do not want to fight Luis Ortiz. They can go on video and talk about how old Ortiz is and talk about how old he is and how he's, don't bring any value or this, that, and the third. Whatever they want to say, none of that is reason enough for them to be avoiding him if they want to call themselves true champions, true contenders, want shots at championships. If you're not willing to fight that man, but you want to walk around with your chest out, doing interviews, talking bad about him when you got a fight lined up with somebody else, but yet and still when you get the opportunity to fight him, you don't want to mention the man's name. Yeah, that's something to be said about that. But when it comes to his fight that took place last night, hey, I think that 1-2 or 3-1 or whatever you want to call it that he landed, I don't think that gives him any shot at getting the fights that he wants. No matter how exciting he looks, no matter how much the crowd cheers for him, no matter how much the interviewers and commentators give him his credit, give him his props, none of that matters to these guys that are afraid to get in the ring with him. All they see is danger. All they see is a threat. And you know, that alone, that perceived threat seems to be greater than any reward they think they could get or any credibility they think they could get for beating Luis Ortiz. But the fact of the matter remains that Wilder, you know, the guy that, you know, so many fanboys of AJ or whatever you want to call them, claim never fought anybody, and they want to take away, you know, all credit from him and say he's not a threat, this, that, and the other. He dared to fight Luis Ortiz, won the fight, and like I said, didn't have to fight the man, chose to fight him. And even Luis Ortiz coming off of that knockout still appears to be too dangerous for the rest of the so-called top-tier heavyweights. The only guys really willing to get in there with him are guys who have everything to gain and nothing to lose by fighting Ortiz. But these guys who already feel like they already have a foothold in the division and that they already have some clout, they're not trying to fight Ortiz and risk getting knocked down several notches, you know. And with that said, I just want to end it on, as long as these guys continue to duck Ortiz, I can see this turn into a Guillermo Rigondeaux situation where guy has all the tools and all the skills in the world and all the ability, but it's going to, you know, as long as he's being avoided like that, he'll never get the opportunity to shine and the opportunity to really become as great as he has the potential to become. You know, and on that note, I'm out. These guys just need to quit ducking.